Situated in Baksa district of Assam, around 19 kilometers west from district headquarters Musalpur, Boroma was not the same what it is now back in midst of 20th century. It was far cry from accessing basic healthcare and education in the area. Malaria, cholera and other dreaded diseases was predominant in the area and very frequent for the inhabitants. The population in the area were mostly tribal, who were below the socio-economic strata compared to other districts of the state.
The socio-economic condition was extremely poor here because the people didn't know the modern life at all. Here there was no facility for health service, there was no education, and the people actually were living a purely tribal life that is not conducive to the modern lifestyle.
Amidst this, an angel arrived in Boroma, all the way from southern part of India, who brought lots of hopes to the downtrodden people of Boroma for the first time. He is none other than B.K.Bhandari, who not only built the foundation of modern Boroma, but also served people in Greater Assam in various capacities. He later on emerged as the modern architect of Boroma.
B.K.Bhandari is like an angel. Yes, in fact, he is in true sense of the term the architect of modern Boroma because all the modern amenities, the modern facilities as we are witnessing now, were totally absent there.
People here in Boroma mostly call him by the name Mandiraji.
আমার এই অঞ্চলটার নাম আছিল মান্দ্রাজি মান্দ্রাজি বুলি ইয়াত গোটেই জনাজাত মান্দ্রাজি বুলি সকলোৱে আমাৰ এই অঞ্চলৰ ৰাইজে মান্দ্ৰাজি বুলি জানে আৰু মানে.
It may not be less than a far-reaching task for anyone at this day and age to think of serving a community thousands of miles away from one's own home state, in a different atmosphere where the medium of modern communication was still taking baby steps. But Bhandari accomplished this gigantic feat in the year 1936 by visiting Boroma, where the age-old bullock cart was the only mode of transport. He served the people selflessly without basic health and education facilities, which were absolutely non-existent.
And the most important thing which strikes me even today, that he spontaneously and innately adopted Assam and Assamese and all the downtrodden tribal people in which and for whom actually he has worked continuously and selflessly for several decades.
B.K. Bhandari, whose actual name was Bhandari, was born on 21st December 1907 at Mangalore of present-day state of Karnataka. At the time, all the present 5 South Indian states were known as Madras province. It was the peak of freedom movement at the time. Highly influenced by the movement, B.K. Bhandari participated in it actively during his college days, for which he was sent to jail twice. The first was for 6 months in 1930 and the second for a year in 1932. He idolized Gandhiji and desired to devote his life for the service of the people of the country. During Gandhiji's visit to South India for fundraising for Harijan Sevak Sangh, B.K. Bhandari volunteered to drive Bapu throughout the Madras province, which lasted for about 6 months. Bhandari's selflessness impressed Gandhiji and Thakkar Bapa, another renowned leader of that period.
One place called Pundur, where a lot of Harijan people was there, and they found that Gandhiji's itinerary was not covered there. Bhandariji was there, he heard, he said, okay, I will do something. Then he said, let us go and do a satyagraha on way when Gandhiji comes there to focus their issue. Then Gandhiji met them And that was the first instance when he met Gandhiji. Gandhiji was very impressed, and with him Thakkar Bappa was also there.
In 1934, Gandhiji visited Assam for the third time. After his visit, Bapuji went on looking for someone who could work for the upliftment of the downtrodden people, mainly the Harijans in Assam. Bhandari was considered for the task by Bapuji and Thakkar Bappa. Thereafter, with a huge responsibility bestowed upon him, Bhandari finally arrived in Assam in the year 1936. After he landed in Assam, Bhandari came in contact with personalities such as renowned social as well as political activists Dr. Hari Krishna Das, Gopinath Bordoloi, Dr. Bhuvaneshwar Borua, Vishnuram Medhi, Omiyo Kumar Das, and many others. As advised by these renowned leaders, Bhandari moved towards Mushalpur initially to serve the tribal people there, as the population of Harijans in Assam at that time was scarce. He was infected with malaria soon enough, which made him return to Guwahati for treatment, as medical facility was not available in Mushalpur. Dr. Bhuvaneshwar Borua and Dr. Hari Krishna Das took good care of him in Guwahati. This time Bhandari decided to visit Boroma instead of Mushalpur, as Mushalpur situated at a desolated location. With his arrival, he initiated his plan for building a new Boroma immediately, and the outcome was the Boroma Ashram, which was established with just 20 tribal students in July 1936. It initially was known as Boroma Harijan Ashram.
To describe his capability to organize, he was sent to Boroma in the month of March 1936. And could you believe Boroma Assam started in July 7th, 1936? That is how he organized the people, motivated the people to work for the cause of the society.
Bhandari, with his own diligence, infused enthusiasm among the people there to move towards a more civilized and modernized society. For the students of Boroma Ashram, he availed them hostel facility where equality was the only rule.
And Boroma Assam, they have started a hostel. The 20 students started staying there. They used to stay together, and to break the barrier of caste, creed and other taboos, they used to eat, stay, work together.
It was the first institute in the whole of Boroma and its vicinity that aimed to provide academic education along with various vocational trainings too. With this, Boroma stepped into a new journey of progress and development. Initially, the ashram was constructed by Bhandari and his associates with thatched roof and bamboo foundations. Bhandari himself got engaged in the construction work. He surprised many with his skills in almost everything.
আমি নাজানো যে তেওঁ কি শিক্ষা লৈ আহিছে, ডাক্তৰীয়ে লৈ আহিছে নে মিস্ত্ৰীয়ে লৈ আহিছে নে কি কৰিছে, তেওঁ সব কাম তেওঁ নিজ হাতেদি তেওঁ কৰে আৰু সেইবিলাক আমাৰ এই অঞ্চলৰ ৰাইজে দেখা পায়।
One of the biggest challenges for Bhandari in Boroma was the medium of communication, since he knew only English and Tulu language spoken in his own native place. Soon enough, he met Surendranath Das, who would play the part of an interpreter for him for a very long period. He emerged as one of the adored associates of Bhandari later on. Being a great follower of Gandhiji, Bhandari always emphasized on cleanliness and sanitation and public health too. Besides that, Bhandari always encouraged people to use drinking water from a well and engaged himself in making one. Within a short span of time, Boroma Ashram flourished as the biggest institute in the then undivided Kamrup that drew attention of the local as well as national leaders on various occasions. Prominent leaders such as Jawaharlal Nehru, Thakkar Bapa, as well as Gopinath Bordoloi, Dr. Bhubaneswar Borua, Dr. Harikrishna Das, and many others visited the ashram. While continuing his journey for the betterment of the society, Bhandari married Sumati Nevalkar in Bangalore on 9th January 1938, who also happened to hail from the same place. Thereafter, they came back to Boroma and continued their social duties. Highly inspired by her husband, Sumati also devoted herself in various social activities. She also started a school for the girls, which is still functioning at present-day Boroma town. It was later renamed as Sumati Balika Vidyalaya. Bhandari had to bear the pain of losing Sumati soon after she succumbed to malaria when she was pregnant. There was no medical facility at Boroma back then. It caused him immense pain because she was not just his wife but also his strongest associate during his journey. Amidst this situation, another lady who happened to be the best friend of Sumati Bhandari came into the life of B.K.Bhandari. Savitri Bhandari came to Boroma from Mangalore with her uncle in the year of 1942. She married B.K.Bhandari the same year at Rangapalli Ashram, a few kilometers away from Boroma Ashram on 17 January. Bhandari started a new life once again and continued working for the society with the support of Savitri Bhandari till his last breath. B.K. Bhandari was a man of strong determination. It reflected in his work. Highly upset with the loss of his first wife Sumati, Bhandari vowed to create health facility at Boroma, mainly for pregnant women and children. With few of his supporters, Bhandari successfully established Aham Seva Samiti, the only health center in that area in 1944. It was formally inaugurated by Thakkar Bapa, who also happened to be one of the mentors of B.K. Bhandari. Dr. Sarat Chandra Bhagavati was a man who also dedicated his life for the people of Boroma and served in Aham Seva Samiti for above 50 years from 1947. The only living associate of that health center is Ruth Mukherjee, who still remembers her service days there as a nurse during the difficult phase.
তাতে আমার ডক্টর আছিল ডাক্তার শরৎ চন্দ্র ভগৱতী তেওঁৰ লগতে মই কাম কৰিলোঁ বুজিছে আচ্ছা তেওঁ বিৰাট মৰমীয়াল ভাল আছিল তেওঁৰ লগত আৰু আমাৰ তাতে পেচেণ্ট বহুত হৈছিল কিন্তু আগে জায়গাটো ভাল নাছিল কোটাই একদম বৰষুণ পৰিছিল হেৰি হৈছে মানুহবিলাক আহা যোৱা কৰিব নোৱাৰে তাতে ৰিক্সা নাই একো নাই আমি খুচকাৰি যাই বেমাৰী চাইছিলোঁ
Aham Seva Samiti served the people of Boroma for a very long period. Had it not been established, the people in Boroma and its entire vicinity would have suffered further.
বহুত দিগদাৰী হ'ল হয় তেওঁ ভাণ্ডাৰী বাবু যদি আহি জইন নকৰিলে হয় বহুত দিগদাৰী বহুত মানুহ মৰি গ'ল হয় বেমাৰীৰ কাৰণে মৰি গ'ল আমি আছোতো আমি দেখিছোঁ এইবোৰ
This is Boroma Higher Secondary School, another gift to the people of then undivided Kamrup, which was the lone such institute in the whole of Boroma. Bhandari himself constructed it in the year 1944. With the school, Boroma witnessed a new era of educational revolution. Students from various corners of then Kamrup came here with a hope to instill knowledge.
আসলতে B.K. Bhandari এই বৃহত্তৰ বৰমা অঞ্চলৰ বাক্সা অঞ্চলৰ এগৰাকী দেৱদূত বুলি আমি অভিহিত কৰিব বিচাৰোঁ এই হাইস্কুলখন স্থাপন কৰাৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আৰু গোটেই বৃহত্তৰ বাক্সা অঞ্চলত শৈক্ষিক দিশত আগবঢ়াই নিয়াৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত তেখেতৰ অৱদান আমি বৰমাবাসীৰে যে কাহানিও পাহৰি যাব নোৱাৰোঁ আমি যথেষ্ট আৱেগিক হৈ যাওঁ তেখেতৰ নামবিলাক আমাৰ মনত আহিলে আৰু তেখেতে নিজ হাতেৰে শ্ৰম কৰি নিজে বাঁহ কাটি আনি ইয়াতে আৰু এগৰাকী মানুহ আছিলে প্ৰভাত শৰ্মা এই প্ৰভাত শৰ্মাৰ লগত লগ লাগি নিজ হাতেৰে ডেস্ক তৈয়াৰ কৰিছিলে দুৱাৰ দৰ্জা বনাইছিলে খিৰিকী বনাইছিলে
The school has still preserved the furniture made by B.K.Bhandari himself in the campus in memory of him. Just by looking at this beautifully designed furniture, one can really sense Bhandari's extraordinary skill in craft. Bhandari was often seen on his bicycle in and around Boroma and its adjacent areas. After visiting Rangafali, about 6 kilometers away from Boroma Ashram, Bhandari realized that the area was the home to a significant number of Harijans. This was the reason he established Rangafali Ashram for the Harijans and other downtrodden people of that area as well. Though there is no remaining of the ashram at present, his effort is even visible in the form of Rangafali Mausolea Vidyalaya. Initially, it was established as Thakkar Udyog Vidyalaya, offering vocational trainings on various subjects.
বৰমাৰ পৰা পূব দিশত প্ৰায় 6 কিলোমিটাৰ মান দূৰত ইয়াতো হৰিজন মানুহ আছে আৰু এই অঞ্চলটো একেবাৰে অনগ্ৰহৰ শিক্ষা দীক্ষা সকলো দিশতে পিছপৰা আছে আৰু ইয়াৰ গোটেই ঠাইখণ্ডত অকল যে হৰিজন মানুহ আছে এনেকুৱা নহয় জনজাতি মানুহ ইয়াত যথেষ্টখিনি আছে আৰু সেইটো সময়ত বিদ্যালয়খনৰ নাম আছিল আচলতে শ্ৰী ঠক্কৰ উদ্যোগ বিদ্যালয় আৰু সেই বিদ্যালয়খন মহাত্মা গান্ধীৰ আদৰ্শ সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে তাত প্ৰতিফলিত হৈছিল বিশেষকৈ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলে আশ্ৰমৰ ভিতৰত থাকি খুটা কটা তাৰ পিছত হাল বোৱা ফলমূলৰ বাগিচা কৰা এই গোটেই কাম কাজখিনি তেওঁলোকে কৰিব লাগিছিল আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ দিশটোতো আছিলেই
As the institute was established to educate Harijans primarily, it is regarded as a Harijan Vidyalaya or Harijan school even today. The educational scenario would have been different today had this school not been established there in Rangafali.
কাৰণ এখন স্কুল নাথাকিলে আমাৰ আগৰ দিনৰ পৰা যিবিলাক পঢ়িছিলে আমাৰ জ্যেষ্ঠবিলাকে বহু দূৰত গৈ পঢ়িব লাগিলে হয় কাৰণ এটা সময়ত এইখন স্কুলক এই অঞ্চলৰ নালন্দা বুলি মানে মানুহবিলাকে কয় আৰু ইয়াতে বৰ্ডিং ছিষ্টেম আছিলে বহু দূৰ দূৰণিৰ পৰা ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰী আহি ইয়াতে বৰ্ডিঙত থাকি পঢ়িছিলে
It was in the year 1950, Assam experienced the biggest shock ever. The great earthquake resulted in the biggest flood ever in the state. It left behind a trail of destruction all over. At that point of time, Bhandari was entrusted upon the responsibility of collecting funds under the Governor Earthquake Relief Fund and serve the victims of flood. With such a huge humanitarian task, Bhandari, along with his whole family, left for Lakhimpur. Bhandari used to roam around the district on his bicycle to take stock of the flood situation. He stayed there in the district for about 1 year for that purpose. His family still cherish those moments, the way Bhandari served the people there in the district.
We were very young when he died. So what I can see during his days, what small thing I remember is he used to get up early, get into the work right early in the morning, then go out. And by the time he comes back home, we are all sleeping. I was hardly, before he went to for the flood affected area, I was only 5 years old. So I don't remember much. I remember only one thing. That was 15 August 1950 when the great earthquake came. One thing I remember, we had a pond there. A big rohu fish came out of the fish and landed in the landed area. We are very excited about that.
Bhandari's passion for serving people never led him to engage in any government job. But the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, who was highly impressed with Bhandari's dedication towards the society, appointed him as an assistant commissioner for the Department of Scheduled Tribes, Scheduled Caste and Labour Development. He had to assume the charge of various states such as Tripura, Manipur, West Bengal and undivided Assam in the year of 1952. One more organization that came into existence at the time was Aham Seva Samiti. It was led by Bhandari along with other prominent personalities such as Dr. Hari Krishna Das, Omiyo Kumar Das and Bishnuram Medhi.
Aham Seva Samiti 1952 চনত অসমৰ ৰাজধানী শিলঙত অসমৰ দ্বিতীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী স্বৰ্গীয় বিষ্ণুৰাম মেধিৰ বাসভৱনত ৰজনীত কটেজ নামৰ এটা ৰুমত অসম সেৱা সমিতিয়ে মুক্ত স্বাধীনচিতীয়া সমাজসেৱী অনুষ্ঠান হিচাপে গঢ় লৈ উঠিছিল আৰু উত্তৰ পূব ভাৰতৰ ই আগ্ৰনোৱা স্বেচ্ছাসেৱী অনুষ্ঠান হিচাপে প্ৰতিষ্ঠিত হৈছিল
It was primarily aimed to shelter people infected with leprosy who were abandoned by the society during that time.
ইয়াৰ উদ্দেশ্যটো আছিল কুষ্ঠ ৰোগীৰ শুশ্ৰূষা চিকিৎসা পুনৰ সংস্থাপন প্ৰধান কাম তেখেতে এইখিনি হাতত লৈছিল আৰু উত্তৰ পূব ভাৰতত তেখেতৰ 28টা কেন্দ্ৰ আমাৰ অসম সেৱা সমিতিৰ নামত আছিল
Aham Seva Samiti was also a pioneer organization to offer vocational training that time. Under its umbrella, various other entities came up in the form of Sishu Kalyan Kendras. All these organizations are still functioning even to this day, apart from a few. Amongst the various services being provided by Aham Seva Samiti, the rest house facility meant for the cancer patients and their attendants in Guwahati is the major one.
1993 start কৰিছিল cancer patient ৰখা rest house এটা আমাৰ head office যত আছে সাৰাভাটি গোপীনাথ নগৰ তাতে আছে স্থাপিত তো হেখিনি আমি 8টা ৰুম আছে এতিয়া যেনেকে ফেমিলিয়াৰ ওচৰতে আমাৰ বিবৰুৱা কেন্সাৰ ইনষ্টিটিউটখন আছে তাত ট্ৰিটমেন্ট কৰিবলৈ আহে তো ফেমিলি থাকিব পৰাকে ডাঙৰকে ৰুম বনোৱা হৈছে হোটেলৰ নিচিনা ৰুম আমি লো কষ্ট 300 টকা পাৰ ডে কে আমি চাৰ্জ কৰো যেহেতু ক্যান্সাৰ পেশেন্ট বহুত বাঢ়ি আছে জিকলে আৰু আমি এক্সটেনশনো এটা কৰি আছো ইয়াত
In 1952, Bhandari resigned his job as assistant commissioner because the policies prepared by him were not implemented due to existence of high red tapeism in the system and stayed back there in Shillong. That period appeared to be a hectic one for him due to his relentless social activities and frequent official trips to the hilly areas of Northeast to formulate those development policies. Bhandari breathed his last on 25th of August 1953. Assam lost a son who tirelessly worked for the downtrodden people of the region. His family described the moment as very painful.
দেউতা ঢুকুৱা দিনটো মোৰ মনত আছে সেই মানে মাৰ কান্দনটো এতিয়াও মোৰ কাণত বাজে দেউতাৰ শৱদেহটো জাতীয় পতাকাৰে ঢাকি থোৱা আছিল আৰু মা দেউতাৰ মৃতদেহৰ ওপৰত বাগৰি মানে মূৰ থৈ খুব কান্দিছিল আৰু ইমান দুখ পাইছিলোঁ মই শক হৈ গৈছিলোঁ মই কাৰ ওচৰত যাম এনেকা ভাৱ এটা হৈছিল
Bhandari served the people of Assam, mainly Buxa district in various capacities for which people still remember him even today. Aham Seva Samiti and various other organizations remember him by observing his death anniversary every year. Bhandari earned love, respect and honor from the society for his humanitarian deeds and will always remain a great source of pride and inspiration for his family members and associates.
এতিয়াও মানে এতিয়া নহয় গোটেই মোৰ জীৱনলৈকে থাকিব দেউতা মানে মই ভগৱান বুলি ভাবিছিলোঁ যিজনৰ কথা সমগ্ৰ অসমৰ বাহিৰতো নাগালেণ্ডে এইবিলাক চবেই জানে ইমান সন্মান কৰে সেইজনে সেই মানুহঘৰৰ মই বোৱাৰী নহয় মই ছোৱালী নিচিনাই থাকোঁ মই বিৰাট ভাগ্যৱতী
The story of B.K.Bhandari would be incomplete without mentioning the immense contribution by his wife Savitri Bhandari. Savitri Bhandari stood up even stronger after losing her husband. She returned to Boroma to take the charge of the ashram. She carried forward the legacy of B.K.Bhandari.
দেউতাই আমাক শিকাবলৈ একো নাপালে, আমি খুব কম বয়সতে হেৰুৱালোঁ, কিন্তু তাৰ পিছৰখিনি মায়ে আমাক গাইড কৰিছিল। আৰু মা দেউতাৰ বৈবাহিক জীৱন মাত্ৰ 11 বছৰৰ আছিল, কিন্তু সূৰ্যৰ ৰশ্মিত চন্দ্ৰ উদ্ভাসিত হোৱাৰ দৰে সেই 11 বছৰত মায়ে দেউতাৰ পৰা যিমানখিনি পালে নহয়, আৰু তাৰ পিছৰ গোটেই চোৱা জীৱন আমাক ডাঙৰ দীঘল কৰিলে, সমাজৰ কাৰণে কাম কৰিলে। আৰু মই সঁচাই গৌৰৱান্বিত মোৰ মাক লৈ। তেনেকুৱা মহিলা খুব কম আছে, ইমান সাহসী, ইমান নিৰ্ভীক আৰু ইমান সত্যবাদী।
Following on the footsteps of her husband, Savitri Bhandari founded various other organizations. This is the orphanage home Savitri Devi initiated, which stopped functioning couple of years back. One of the most important contributions made by Savitri Devi was the weaving center that aimed to empower women of Boroma at that period. Realizing its importance and the need at present time, Assam government adopted the institute that has been playing a vital role in facilitating weaving training to the people of that area. Savitri Bhandari also held the post of chairperson of North Kamrup Social Welfare Board. Besides that, entities such as the Matri Mangal Kendras were also set up under her guidance across the state to provide various vocational training to women. There were a few names that cannot be left out from the life history of B.K. Bhandari and his family. Dr. Hari Krishna Das and his family members are amongst those names. These people were of huge support for the family of B.K. Bhandari throughout the challenging times. This old house in the heart of Guwahati city, owned by Dr. Hari Krishna Das, was the address of B.K. Bhandari and his family till 1954. Coincidentally, it was the same house where Mahatma Gandhi spent few nights during his visit to Assam.
Dr. Hari Krishna Das, তেখেতৰ দুই জীয়ৰী অমলপ্ৰভা দাস আৰু তিলোত্তমা ৰায়চৌধুৰীৰ সহায়ৰ হাত আৰু তেখেতসকলৰ আশ্ৰয় নাপালে হয়তো আজি আমি এই অৱস্থাত উপনীত হ'ব নোৱাৰিলোঁ। কাৰণ মা 4টা ল'ৰা ছোৱালী সৰু সৰু আৰু পঞ্চমটো তেতিয়া গৰ্ভত, সেই অৱস্থাত দেউতাক হেৰুৱাইছোঁ। আৰু মোৰ এতিয়া সেই দৃশ্যটো মোৰ মনত আছে। আমি অমলপ্ৰভা দাসক সৰু জেঠাই বুলি কৈছিলোঁ। মায়ে কান্দি কান্দি এটা সময়ত ভাগৰত মাত টোপনি গৈছিলে। বিছনাখনৰ কাষতে অমলপ্ৰভা দাস সৰু জেঠাই চকী এখন পাৰি বহি মাৰ মূৰত হাত বুলাই আছিল। সেই দৃশ্যটো মোৰ মানে থাকি গ'ল।
What B.K. Bhandari did, especially for Boroma, is regarded as most significant contributions even today, as he was the first pathfinder for the people of Boroma towards a modern society. The iconic Boroma Ashram, which is still in existence, is continuing its social activities even today.
যেতিয়া ফ্লাড হয় আমাৰ মানে ফ্লাড প্ৰন এৰিয়া গোটেই আমাৰ এটা এণ্টায়াৰ ট্ৰাইবেল এখন ট্ৰাইবেল গাঁও আছে চাৰণপাৰা বুলি কয়, এণ্টায়াৰলি ৰাভা পপুলেটেড। তেওঁলোকৰ তাতে মাথাউৰি খুব ভাঙে, গোটেই গাঁওখনে ইয়াত শিফ্ট কৰে, হায়াৰ ছেকেণ্ডেৰী ৰিলিফ কেম্প পাতে আৰু এণ্টায়াৰ খানা পাতি চব তাত আমি যোগাৰ কৰিছিলোঁ। আমি মেডিটেশ্যন চেণ্টাৰ এটা আছিলে আমাৰ সিদ্ধান্তলৈকে প্ৰজাপিতা ব্ৰহ্মকুমাৰীৰ নেতৃত্বত তেওঁলোকক যোগাসন প্ৰাৰ্থনা আদি শিকাইছিলোঁ, যিবোৰ B.K. Bhandari দেৱই আৰম্ভণি কৰা বস্তুটো আমি এইটো ৰান কৰি আছিলোঁ।
As a tribute to this legendary philanthropic person, people in Boroma have established many institutes. B.K. Bhandari ME School is one such institute. Few renowned personalities such as Surendranath Das established in the year of 1985. Prior to that, the health club came up in 1978 in the memory of B.K. Bhandari with the initiative of a few local people. Besides this, B.K. Bhandari Children's School and an indoor stadium have been brought up by the followers of Bhandari, showing the deep love and respect of the people of Boroma for their beloved Mandraji or B.K. Bhandari.